The purpose of this video is to show you how to do multiple scatter plots along with graphing the best fit lines. You can do it by hand, but there are a couple of shortcuts. It's not that much different than just doing one, but just to avoid confusion, I'm going to show you with this video. People that have the more advanced TIs, the screens look a little different, so if you need some help after you watch the video, you can ask me. I already have my data in. I have L3 is my Y data for both of them, and then I have my X data is L1 for one graph and it's L2 for the other graph. So these are different times. L1 has one set of times and L2 has another set of times. You're not able to do this with graphical analysis, so we need to be able to do it with our TI. So the first thing I do is I go second Y equals to get my stat plots. As you can see, mine are already on, but I enter it. And then if I need to, I change my X list and Y list. Again, if you have the newer TIs, it looks a little different, but it's the same idea. And if, for example, if I wanted L5, just a reminder, I go second and then 5, and that will put L5 right there. So I'm going to change that back to what I had, second L1. Oops. And if you want, you can pick a different mark for each graph. So that's all set up good to go. So I can go back to my original. I go down to my second plot. I hit enter. Now you see I have L2 and L3, and I used a different marker so I can kind of tell them apart. Then I need to generate the equations. I'll have to do that separately. So I get out of my stat plot. And so my first one, I'm going to go to Stat, Calculate. As I was saying, to do my first one, I'm going to go to Calculate, and my first set of data is linear, so I choose 4. There's another linear regression which you can use if you wish to. And in this case, I need my L1, so I go second, and I hit the number 1. Then I hit comma, which is just above the 7. You can just see it in the picture here. And then I do second L3 because my y-axis is the same for both. Now I want to put it in my graph. On your more advanced ones, I believe it says REGEQ. That's for the regressive equation. Storage, it says stored regressive equation. That's where you would put the name of where you want to store it. And in that one, it's also VARS for variables. Go to Y variables, and I want to choose the function one. I'm going to put it in Y1. So I hit enter. And then also in your labs you usually need to record this information. But now that's stored that in my calculator. Okay? In my Y equals. There it is. Okay? So then I go back to my stat. Go to calculate. Now I'm going to do the second one. This time I want to do the power. So you can scroll down all the way to A. Or you can, if you scroll up, it's a little faster. You're going to choose power regression. You don't have a choice to force the exponent to be 2, but we'll just live with it. And this time I'm going to use 2 in L3. Make sure you use a different Y this time. I'm going to stick it in Y2. So then I hit enter. Okay, this brings up a good point on your TIs. You cannot use the 0.00 on the power regression. It has to do with the fact they use logarithms. So I'm going to go to that. So I have to go back to my data, and I just temporarily delete the 0 point. Then I can quit. That's actually probably good that I did that because that will happen to a lot of you. And I find it. And there it is. Now, in order to get everything to work, again, I have to go back to stat and put the zeros back in there. So I go second, delete, inserts it, and second, delete, inserts it. I think we've covered how to add and delete everything. Then if I hit graph, I will set your window. Okay. I think there are automatic ways to do it, but you just look at your values. You could go from 0 to 6, and then from 0 to 2.5 covers all my data. and you hit graph, and it draws the dots and draws the curve.